Hello, good to see you. Hi, Nancy, good to see you. I'm letting everybody in. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Happy Friday. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Good morning. So good to see you guys. Oh my gosh. I can't believe, can you guys believe it's already like next weekend is 4th of July? Where the heck did this month go? Where the heck the whole half of the year? I can't believe it. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Jesse. Welcome. Hi, Veronica. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Heather. Good to see you. Good morning. Hi, Sheila. It's good to see you. Hi. Oh my gosh, welcome. I am so excited that you guys are here. What did you guys think of the homework? How did that go? Did I know maybe some of you have already done the advanced directive, or have you guys maybe looked at yours and maybe considered revising it, updating it? How did that go for you? Just want to say for Nancy and for Veronica, you guys, this is just an open-ended conversation, and this time is all about you helping to answer questions and just to help support you guys. And also looking forward always to happy hours so you guys can all begin to develop and continue your connections. Hi, Tana. Good to see you. Welcome. Good morning. Hi, Clarice. How's everything going? Heather, your hair looks so cute. I love that bob on you. It's so cute. Yeah, sassy. I love it. It's a French bob. Oh, it's cute. It's very cute. Hi, Clarice. Good morning to you. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited. I can't believe that we are at week 9 already. Um, I don't know. I can't believe how fast it's going. So much excitement is building. And do you guys feel a little nervous? I just wanted to say if you feel nervous, that's okay too. I want to, for I've been doing this for a little while, and I want you to feel that when the semester is over, you are not going to be left alone. We are all here to support you. I think also, you also have the care consulting piece, you have the elder care piece, you have all of that available, and you will have access to your classroom forever. And so you can always go back to that material. There's the Facebook group that you can stay connected with. But I think for me on my journey, I think I really tried in the beginning too, so excited, but feeling a little overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, what do I do? For me, I had never like started my business. I never did anything like that before. It was not intuitive at all. And so really, really beginning to explore what that might look like. But what I kept coming back to was my why. And and I have found over the course of time, and let me just tell you guys, this is how it works. So I've been building my business. It's been this slow process, but it's been this beautiful organic process. And I've noticed that um, I'm having organic conversations with people. They ask me what I do, they become curious, and you just never know who's listening because I have this gal found me like a year ago, and she's like, I've been just kind of waiting for you. She's 92. She's nowhere near at the end of life, but she's now homebound, and she's just looking for some support on this time that she has from now till then. And so we've planned on meeting twice a month and really being able to, I think what I'm so grateful for, one, is the resource list. I know Suzanne talks about that, and we talk about that a lot, and we're going to help you guys develop that. But that would be something to start working on now because that has been so helpful for me because when I get clients, it's like, oh, wait, I've already developed a relationship with this funeral home, or I've already developed a relationship with this hospice company. And so building those relationships, but first off, starting off with your resource list, just what I would do, just as a suggestion, is just pick a day of the week, spend 1 hour building that resource list. I think you'll really find benefit in that. And maybe when you create the list, maybe the next step is to maybe reach out to those companies and say, hey, is there a main contact person, so that when you're ready and you don't have to do all of this now, it all takes time. And I know we all have very busy lives, but for me, I have created what I would call a power list, and I work with a couple of individuals actually daily, and we create lists. And then it's like, these are the three things that I'm going to do today. And sometimes, to be honest with you, it's just breathe. Like my favorite thing to say is just be where my hands are, and just like, okay, today I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, and I'm just going to practice breathing. I'm going to make sure I get outside and move my body. And then some other times it is a process of practicing being able to just do one thing. And I've gone back over and over and over again to that resource list when I have felt stuck. That has been a real powerful vehicle for me. So those are just kind of thoughts that are rumbling through my head. Hi, Christine. Welcome. Good morning. Hi there. Yeah. So Heather, go right ahead. It's good to see you. Oh, hang on. I might have
There
to
we go.
unmute.
Got it.
You got it.
Um, yeah, I just have a couple of questions. Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a real week for me because being in Canada, even though I'm trying to, I'm I'm trying to follow like the Canadian guide, and okay, so I think I got that. I have that figured out now. But
Okay.
anyway, it was kind of difficult because I had been calling for the last week. I'd been calling different places, calling hospice, calling Peace Arch Hospital right by me, calling, and I happen to know the head volunteer coordinator at the hospital, so that was great. But then
Great.
she said the same thing that hospice did. Yeah, it's going to take you 6 months to a year, and that's just to do volunteer work. So you got to go through training and all this. So that she said, yeah, start looking elsewhere. So I'm checking into job shadowing. And
Okay.
it's and yeah, I'll see what I can do with that next week. But anyway, I did go to the police cup. They're closing all of our police stations down. So I finally found one, the main detachment up here that in Surrey, BC, that yeah, it was hard to get a criminal check form. I mean, I've had them before when I volunteer did volunteer work, and so they said, "What do you want it for?" and this and that, and then they said, "Well, who are these people?" And I went, "Oh boy!" So I had to kind of explain what was going on and what I'm doing, and it was just like pulling teeth all week, and I kept thinking, okay, I'm fine. I will be fine. Just go home and breathe. So anyway, I have also now, do I need some kind of form or something to go with that criminal check? Because they said we don't, well, at first they said, well, we need a reference why you're doing this or why you need a criminal check. And then I told them why. And then they said, well, you don't need it from us. You'll probably need it from a care home or wherever you volunteer or, So anyway, do I ask them, let's say if I can get a criminal check and then I go to a care home and they say, oh yeah, you could shadow these hospice people and you could do this and do that. I don't know. I guess I won't know until it happens. I'm just kind of confused about the process. It's kind of confusing me. And the other thing is the elder care section. I started that, but I wanted to know now do we have to have that finished before we take our test or that's after?
Yeah.
Okay. And then because I see we have, is it 61 or 63 classes or lessons in our format, and so we go all the way up to the 63 or 61, whatever it is, and then take the test, or
Are you speaking of the end of life doula training
it,
specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So what will happen is what I would do at some point, maybe this weekend if you have time, is I would just go back to the beginning, go to module one, and
Yeah.
at the end of each section, because there's like two or three sections in each module, and what I would do is go through each page, I guess you would call it, each section, and make sure that there, because there's things in there that on the side that there's the manual, not the manual, but the workbook and all of those things. So just make sure, because each section has information. It's
Yeah.
not just the video, right? And
Yeah.
so go through each section, and at the very bottom make sure that you click complete.
Yes, I
And
have done that.
you've done that. Okay, perfect.
I've
So once you have done all of that, if you have gone through every single section, 63, if that's how many are there, then you're going to get a little notification that says now you're ready to take your exam. And then once you take your exam, then you're good to go. And then at that point is whenever you are able to turn in your bedside hours. I want to back up a little bit, Heather, and just let you know that it's okay. It's okay. Like life is in full session, and sometimes some people do have difficulties finding the bedside hours. But I really just I want to encourage you to just take a breath and just putting yourself out there. And I'm not familiar with the background check for Canada, but when I started working here in Idaho, I went to the police station, and then they just filled out like did a fingerprinting thing. And so I sometimes, like, I want things done like today. Like I'm feeling like I have to get it all done today. And then I have to just remember, okay, just take a breath. There's a reason why I'm hitting resistance. And I have to just really pause. And then for some reason there's a person that shows up, or there's an opportunity that shows up, and I'm like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So
yeah.
unfortunately I haven't been, in that situation in Canada. And it's kind of like the conversation that we were having on Tuesday with Antonia about uh, the living will and the moles in New York State. I'm not an expert in every state and province, and so sometimes it takes a little bit of digging to find out what is specific in your area. I feel like I'm kind of an expert in Idaho because that's where I live, and in California where I lived before. But sometimes it just takes talking to the right person, and it sounds like you're doing amazing trying to find some connections. And just be patient. Just be patient. You don't have to have all of this done right now. Maybe just as a thought, um, for me personally, social workers have been a really strong through line for connections. And I always think about, hospices and, those areas. But for some reason, social workers have a lot of information that you might be able to get some support from some social workers. And maybe, is there anything called NODA there at all, Heather? Is there the No One Dies Alone? Is there anything like that up there?
Yeah, there's oh, I think it was Erica sent me
Okay.
a thing. It's called um it's NID anyway.
Okay.
NIDA, I think it is, NIDA or something. So anyway, I'm going to check into that. It's just my own crazy perfectionism that says
Mhm.
I want it right now and I want to do this and I don't want to miss anything. And so
Yeah.
that's what causes me anxiety. And I notice that when I'm sleeping and I'm dreaming about getting everything in order, and I'm
Yeah.
like, stop it. Just stop it. Slow down. It's okay. You don't have to have everything today, and but yeah, it's my own craziness in my own head that says I'm such a perfectionist and I don't want to fail and I don't want to do this and and I want it all right now and I wanted all my ducks in a row. So then I just start badgering myself. I mean, I'm probably, yeah, I'm my worst critic. I'm just pounding on myself, and because I don't, and then I haven't been in school for a long, long time, and it's kind of like, oh God, can I do this? And I'm thinking, yes, you can. I mean, I'm hearing your words and Suzanne's words constantly. So I'm going, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Because I was not raised in a home where anyone pushed education. In fact, they went, you're not smart enough to get an education. You're not smart enough. And I'm going, yes, I am. I know I can do this. So that's out in the field doing that kind of work. I'm feeling pretty confident about, but it's just the paperwork. It's like, I've been fed so much for so many years that I'm thinking, can you really do this? And I'm going, yes, I can. Yes, I can. So
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, and girl, I get you more than you know. I mean, my head is so busy, and I feel like there's just a lot. Like this is a full spectrum end of life doula training, right? So there's three certifications that we're getting: the elder care, the care consulting, and so as you're working on getting those bedside hours, you can be working on your other things. You can start working on connections in your community. One of the most important things too that I really want to just remind everyone is to please make sure that you go through all the modules, mark it complete, take your exam by July 22nd, because you will get this opportunity to be in this DS IDMA, which is the Doula Giver Specialist. It's an international Doula Givers membership that will accelerate your practice. So, I mean, if you aren't even quite ready to step into your business, having this 3 months right after you get out of your doula training is going to be a game changer, because you're going to be with people who are, trying to reach the same goals, and it's these weekly training sessions. There's a lot of opportunities there. So please, if anything, if you can't get your bedside hours, please take that pressure off of yourself. Just take a breath. I promise. Sometimes we put the cart before the horse. So yes, Suzanne the loser brain. Yes, yes. It's that, it's that ego, it's that fear, it's just all of it. And so really just take a breath. It's all in perfect timing. And so when we just practice being in that space of practicing from being from an open heart space, people are just going to show up. I can't even tell you how that happens. It's magical. But when we get into that space of like, okay, universe, show me what I need to do, and then all of a sudden people show up, and then or you're just going to intuitively know, okay, I'm just going to call this person. I don't know why I'm going to call this person, but I do, and I hear it over and over and over again from you. You guys are all my greatest teachers. I don't know what happened. I just talked to this person. Next thing I know, I'm doing an event at the library. There's a woman that I met from Canada that she lost her husband, and it was just a really hard death, and she was really struggling with her grief, and she just started going to the senior center just to like be around people, and she has made so many connections, and she's actually doing a doula training course up there because she's really learned so much from her own personal experience. So you never know what
well,
we're
I'm
creating
so,
our own roadblocks, to be honest.
which I was also going to say, when I was probably at my lowest point this week, and I said to my husband, I think that was on Wednesday, and I said, oh, let's just go have a burger somewhere. We have our Whopper Wednesdays here, and it's real cheap. So anyway, I said, let's just go have a burger. I just have to veg out, and I just want to sit and I don't want to think about school. I just want to enjoy an afternoon. So I'm sitting there telling him all about this. And he said something wonderful to me. He looked at me and he says, I'm really happy you found something you really love. You really, and I kind of looked at him and I went, oh, I was kind of surprised. So anyway, in my down and out moment, I said to I just said, "Oh God, I hope the universe is listening to me, and I hope I'm on the right path. I could really like to sign, because I'm really feeling shaky today. I don't know about this, And then I went, but I love this. So anyway, we stood up to leave, and I looked over, and the sun was shining in, and there was a shiny dime right next to this man's foot. And I walked up and I leaned into him and I said, "You have a dime by your foot. The angels are with you." And he turned and he went, "They are with me today. I can feel it." And he looked up at me. And then as I walked out, he was under the table going for the dime. And I said, that was the sign I needed. So then I just kind of got my second breath and I went, oh, every time I ask, I get something. I get something in return. So that was really wonderful. And the other thing I wanted to say was, a friend of mine, her mother was dying this about a year ago, and she was in her 90s. Really wonderful woman. You'd never know she was in her 90s. So anyway, she's in the hospital, and her granddaughter took a doula course, and I did not know that, and because I had said, we haven't discussed anything about your mother's passing, and she said, well, my daughter surprised me. She took some doula course, and she said, when we walked into the hospital in her room, she said the lights were dim, they had candles going, and there was soft music that mother loved and all this. And I went, oh, Wendy, this is wonderful. And she says, it was so wonderful. Even the doctors came in and said, wow, why don't we do more of this? So anyway, I thought that was a wonderful note to end on. So, okay,
Oh,
I'm zipped.
thank you, Heather. Oh my gosh. I'm a firm believer of those messages from the universe. I was just kind of I was feeling a little overwhelmed a few days ago, and I was driving to my other job, and the most beautiful great blue heron like swooped right in front of my car and landed in this channel that was just off to the right on the road. And the great blue heron for me is very special, and it has lots of meaning, and I was like, thank you. If I wake up every morning just with anticipation, what do you have for me today, universe? I think that that there's just magic everywhere if we choose to see it. And even these little moments of hard, I feel like sometimes when there's moments of hard, like we're about ready to step into this other magical, powerful place. And so I just really want to keep encouraging you guys that when we are when we are in a full alignment with our life's purpose, everything falls into place. It's not always easy, sometimes there's a little bit of, some step work that we have to do. But when we are in full alignment and our hearts are wide open, beautiful things can happen. I believe this to my core. And Suzanne talks about this a lot. If we just help one person, doesn't matter if it's our family, if it's a client, I feel like job well done. Job well done. And really what it's doing is it's changing our hearts, and it's also um, helping us to be a little bit more comfortable with death. And then it just causes this beautiful ripple effect for everybody. So well done, Heather. Thank you. Hey, Jesse, good to see you. Good morning.
So, hi. A couple of my questions, Heather, she had the same questions. So there's a couple of things. I thought at one point, if we felt we needed some kind of a introduction or clarification about what we're doing and we will be doing after we graduate, you could get a letter from tech support or a little something that addresses why we're maybe approaching different agencies for our, our 15 hours. Or am I incorrect about that?
No, you are right. And while you're talking, keep talking, Jesse, because there is something. I have heard this, but I haven't utilized it. But keep talking, because there is something. Yes.
Okay. So also, at least in my area, I'm a member of an auxiliary, VFW auxiliary. They have guests that can come in
Yeah.
and talk about something that might pertain. And many of our members are older, but it's not just about the veterans. I mean, you're addressing somebody who might know somebody that's not a veteran or a member of the auxiliary, but they're a friend or friends that also, it's a way to get the word out.
Mhm.
So that's part of what I will do because I'm a member there and I was president for 3 years. So yeah.
Awesome. Good for you. Good for you. I think I think that's kind of the magic of for each of us is that have our own we have our own unique experiences and connections, and then like what lights us up, and that's how I think that's how we get forward momentum. Because if we are doing something, like, to be honest with you, the care consulting piece, probably not my favorite thing. I understand the importance of it, but that doesn't really get me excited. And so if I notice that I'm dragging my feet, then it's like, okay, there's a reason why I'm resisting for some reason. And so I love that. I love that you're already doing it, Jesse. You're already making those connections. Well done. Well done. I love your connection to the vets, like, period. That's my favorite. That's like my favorite hands down thing. I'm trying to find that form on the Facebook group. I can't find it, but I am going to find that for you and get the answer for you, Jesse. And I'll put that in the group chat, or in the Q&A, for you guys. So I'll make sure I'll follow up with you on that. But there is something. I know there is. I know there is an introduction letter or something like that. Did anyone put in the chat? Does anyone utilize that? Let's see, Sheila posted something. Suzanne says, I have emailed NODA with no response. Try No One Should Die Alone. Yep, there is that website, No One Should Die Alone. That is, I forget is that in Pennsylvania, Suzanne? I actually called them and someone answered the phone and was super helpful, like, right? Oh my gosh, they actually answered. And so I talked with someone for quite a while and they were super helpful. I had thought about maybe starting a No One Dies Alone here chapter, but I think I need to gain some reinforcements on that front before I dive into that. Um, so, oh, Tina says, yes, that's just so, one thing, being where you are, full session. Yep, life is in full session. Okay, so Suzanne, sorry, so Sheila, okay, let's look at what you posted in that. That's the bedside hours volunteering. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Is that what you're looking for? Do you see that in the chat, Jesse? It's a doula giver's bedside hours volunteering. Um, so it's an introduction letter. Thank you, Sheila, for that.
I do. I do.
Is
Yes,
that
I
is
do
that
see
what
it.
you?
So good.
Okay.
Yes, because I think it helps to when they, what are you doing? What is this all about? If you can have something to show them on paper, you know.
hmm hmm Is that
So
is that helpful?
yes,
Perfect.
yes, it is.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Sheila. Takes a village. Takes a village. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. So there's a couple of questions in the chat here. Let's see. Um, let's see. Tana, do you want to come on? Are you able to come on?
Yes,
Is it Tana or Tana? I want to make sure I'm saying that right.
Tana, like Montana.
Tana. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, I am getting ready to move, and
Okay.
I would like to get hold of some doula givers that are already working in that area.
Yep.
And I would love to go interview them or see what they're doing or just like connect um to see how that area is for them.
Where are you located?
I'm in Central California near to Yosemite National Park,
Okay. Okay.
and I am looking at moving to Central Florida.
Oh my gosh. There's tons of doula givers in Florida. How long, when will
How
you
do
be moving?
how do I contact them? Well, I'm going down there in 2 months just for uh I have a temporary job down there. I do
Okay.
contract jobs.
Okay.
And so I'm there sometimes 3 to 4 months in certain areas.
Okay. Okay.
But I just don't know
Well,
how to contact. What contact resources do we have for other doula givers?
so there's the Good Death, Good Life community group. There are a ton of doula givers on that group. So I would one just say, hey, I live here, but I'm going to be going to Florida. And you can just say, are there any doula givers in Florida? And maybe specifically, I know Florida is a big state, so specifically where you're going. But so that's one way. But I know I personally, so on the doula givers website, have you guys looked at the website recently? Let me share. Let me screen share here, and I'll show you.
That's what I
Yeah.
need to.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you're seeing my desktop here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me minimize that and let me make this bigger. So, um, okay, so here is just the Doula Giver's website. Oh, let me go home. So when you get there, there's all of this information about the Good Death book. But then over here on the right-hand corner is Find a Death Doula. And this, I go to this a lot. And so you can see the new graduates here. Who that's one of the cool things after you complete your certification is that you'll have an opportunity. You'll get so much information, but you will be able to create a bio, post your picture, website. You don't have to worry about getting a website right away, but maybe a contact information. Um, and just say I'm, open for business here in this area. And so you can do, let's just look for Florida. Okay, so Christelle is in Florida. She just graduated. She's doing some amazing work. Carol Prentice is there. I'm not sure exactly where she's at. Cecilia is there. Um, Tam, some of these I haven't met yet. Cynthia Martin. Oh my gosh, look at how many doula givers there are in Florida. There are, gosh, who's down there is um, I can think of two, Sherry Klein. So it really depends on where. Oh,
Okay.
here it is. Really, I mean, look how many doulas are in Florida. My goodness. There's Wendy, there's Robin. So Sherry's not even on here, and I'm going to make a note to tell Sherry to get on the website. So,
So,
so
so that
that's
works. That works for any locale. Like
yeah,
I'm going to also be like 4 months in uh, Southern California.
yep. I'll show you California. There's
So
a
I can
ton.
just go between locales. And
Yep,
okay, good.
yep.
That's what I needed to say. And how about finding doula houses? I just learned about that they are running, some people are doing houses that are operated by the doulas.
Yep. Yep. I don't
I don't know how to find them.
so there is one. Let me just do a Google search really quick. There are okay. Brain start working. There in fact Suzanne did a uh Suzanne did a podcast actually. You could probably Google under if you guys don't listen to Suzanne's Ask a Death Doula, please, when you're driving around in your car and when you're looking, when you have a little spare time, ask a death doula. She's just got hours and hours of interviews and talks to people, but she oh, it's almost there. You know how it's right on the tip of your tongue? It's like, okay, just let it come. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's a nonprofit that actually starts doula homes. Let's see, I'll just Google it and see what it is. I think it starts with uh, an O. Um, so let's see. So, okay, so just as one example, there's something called the Lily House. Let me see where they're located. Sometimes it's just taking a little bit of time to to do a little digging what's available in your area. I don't see exactly where it's at. Let me go back to that search. Anyway, I'll do some digging for that too and put that in there. Okay, so nonprofit
Thank
doula
you.
houses, California. Yeah, it'll come to me. I don't know. Do you guys have that problem where it's like it'll come around eventually? I know, I know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. Okay, so doula houses, I'm writing that down. I'll find out for you. Yeah, it's a great question, Tana. It's a great question. And one of the things I do want to one of the things I do want to mention is that I think it's important to recognize that, we all want experience to be, to get our vigil hours and to be at the time of death. And you might find a little bit of, um, not resistance, but it might take some time getting that experience because it is such a personal and private and sacred space. And to be honest with you, when I when I even though I have a nursing background, and I am so grateful for all of the people that were like, sure, she's a nursing student, come on in, and like you're in a really vulnerable place. And I mean, I was just grateful for the opportunity. I remember a woman, like my first surgical rotation was with a C-section, like super intimate, super, just like, and I'm crying, the husband's crying, and it was just so beautiful. And I just think I'm so grateful for those opportunities for learning. But when someone is dying, it's pretty, people, their circles become pretty small. And so I like the idea of volunteering because it may take time for you to develop relationships, even within the hospice unit, social workers, chaplains, nurses. It's going to take some time. We're super excited and we're wanting this experience, but building those organic relationships will be important. So I know in San Francisco, I don't know if it's still there, but there's the Zen House with he's done an amazing work. Oh God, my brain is not working today. He's a real well-known physician, palliative care hospice doctor who I think he's a bilateral amputee. He's done some amazing work, and he's done powerful TED Talks that really create space for people to have opportunities to die at home. So I know that they're out there, and I'll find out the name of this nonprofit that will have where there are hospice homes all over the country. So I apologize. Don't have all the answers today, but I will find out. Did that answer your question, Tana?
The chat right now.
Yeah, what am I
What's
doing?
that?
Open a different chat to find out about hospice homes in the United.
So let's see, let's go into the chat. So hopefully that answered your question. Um, oh, Clarice. Clarice, are you here, Clarice?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, ask your question, dear. It's good to see you.
Hi. Can you see me now or not?
Yep, I can see you. Yep.
Okay, wasn't sure. I've just been thinking a lot
about the relationship that you form with your client or transitioning person. I'm going to use your words from a few minutes ago. It's such a personal, private, and sacred space, right? And it will really be such an honor to be a doula for someone, right? And so I've been a counselor for a lot of years, and it's, in therapist school, you learn about boundaries and keeping boundaries in your rule. And as a counselor, like, it's not about yourself, it's about your client, and that you really don't do a lot of personal sharing at all. You're warm and present and friendly, but you're not a friend, right? And the time to share personal things is if it's like clinically appropriate, if it serves a purpose for the client, not yourself. But like, I can imagine if you're a doula, it's such an intimate time. I can imagine you becoming so close with people. And, like, for example, let's say everything's going okay today, you're going to be there. The person wants company. Like, it could become very natural to be talking about your life and your kids, and natural for them to want to know about you because they're sharing one of their most intimate times. So, just wondering if you have any guidance about that, and like how to know when you're sharing because you want to versus it's helpful. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I it's a beautiful question. And I think that one of the things that I go back to personally is, for one, we have to do our own interpersonal work before we step into this space. We have to. And then Julie Givers and Suzanne just impresses upon everyone, like, the forgiveness work. Please do that. I know that we're all so eager to step into the space as a Julie Giver, but if we haven't done our own interpersonal work, it can really create um, um, an environment of us maybe perhaps um, working through our things. It's kind of like we're building the plane as we're flying it. And I think that, and I'm, to be honest with you, when I first became a doula giver, I was just so excited about it, and I was blessed with the opportunity to become a hospice nurse. And what was happening for me was that it was like, oh my gosh, this family is very similar to my family dynamics, and so it was bringing up a lot of things that I hadn't healed within myself, and so I got a really crash course on how to do exactly that. And so I had to really step back, and I had to really check myself as a hospice nurse, which what I learned, probably the biggest lesson, is that it's not about me, right? And so it's about them having their experience, but also, as you continue on your journey, you're going to develop relationships with your clients. How can we not? This is a human experience. This is not a medical experience. And so really being able to step into that space to allow ourselves to be vulnerable as well. How can we not be moved by their stories and their experiences? And we're bearing witness to their journey. I remember a woman in particular, that I was her hospice nurse, and she was sharing with me. She was this beautiful artist and just lived this amazing life, and she uh, had moved in with her son to die, and she had a very aggressive fast moving cancer, and she was having difficulties and with managing pain. And once we were able to get her pain under control, she was really able to go into that stabilization phase beautifully. And that's where the magic happens. That's where Suzanne talks about. That's where the magic happens. And so I would see her once or twice a week, and she began to share with me how she had a grandchild that was transitioning, so transitioning from female to male, so trans male, and she was so worried about her grandchild and safety and welfare and family dynamics and things like that. And I really feel like me stepping out of that role of just being a hospice nurse and just really creating a space that was safe. But I also shared a little bit about my experience with that, and what that did is that builds trust. And you know, Clarice, from your experience, that trust takes time. And so we have to just show up for people from the very beginning. But we also have to remember again that this is a human experience. And we obviously can't just fall apart every time we go there, because all of a sudden I'm making it about me and it's bubbling up all my unhealed things. But I think it's beautiful. That's the beauty of being a doula, is that we can't help but create this relationship. Boundaries, I do have to say, we have to practice our boundaries. You know, we can't. I don't want to speak for all of you, but we might be a little. We are called to this space as helpers and being people of service. So the trick is to not lose ourselves in this act of service. Like we have to pull ourselves back. We have to drink healthy beverages. We have to take walks and food, eat nourishing food, because it is really easy to get to want to be so helpful that we can lose ourselves. And so that's something that comes with practice. And I'm sure with your practice, Clarice, that you've have been able to be able to maintain some boundaries, but some get to you. There's some that some of my doula clients, like, I will carry with them forever, and it chokes me up thinking about, like, I think that's what it's all about, right? How can we not be moved by this beautiful human experience? If we aren't moved by the if we aren't moved by this, then we need to be looking for something else. I think it's our human nature to want to be connected.
Yeah.
So beautiful. It's so beautiful. You're going to do amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. That was, yeah. I'm just understanding again kind of what an honor and what a precious time, and just really wanting to be very present but not burdened, like put it all together.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I think too, just checking in, I do a lot of, like, when I talk to people, I place my hand on my heart. Sometimes it's just like, is this, like, just checking in with myself? Is this okay to share? Is this an appropriate thing to share? And I do a lot of pausing, like, just reflecting back to them, and asking permission. Is it okay if I share something about myself? Would you be
Yeah.
open to that? Giving them permission, because sometimes, especially as people are getting closer and closer to the end of life, it's like they're navigating their own journey, and people beginning to dump their stuff on them. That's not okay. And so really just checking the room. How are they? And if they're open to it, I think asking permission is lovely if they're open to it.
Yeah. Good. Good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Hi, Sydney. Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to piggyback on the things that you were saying to Clarice. And Clarice, you and I can have some discussions. I just would second everything that you're saying. I've done elder care and also helped with death work, but for the last, I don't know, 17 years or 20 years. And I have been in situations where I've learned and I've shared too much, and it can get it, but it's a very it's tricky, and to find the balance. And I'm not an expert, and it's like every situation you have to go back into it and remind yourself and be fresh. And I have definitely been in situations where I have not checked my boundaries, but or shared too much, or um, I don't know. I've been on all the different levels, but I just um it one thing I wanted to say is that it can also get tricky for your client, because sometimes, especially the elderly, and I'm not saying that everyone that we would be at a bedside would be elderly, but it's my own personal experience. They want very much to see you as a friend. They want to experience you as a friend. They don't want to experience you as someone who works for them or is doing a job or is, there as a doula or as a caregiver. It's like, this is my friend. And that can get tricky. That can get tricky for both client and for caregiver. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And I has also, then there's this issue of trust. And so it's like it can be hard to navigate, and I've had difficulties navigating it. So I would say that going forward, at least for me too, that it's really helpful, I think, to have a good connection with other colleagues that are in the same work that you can share with. Not specifics of your client's situation, but just feedback, or I'm having this difficulty, or I'm having this experience, do you have any ideas, what do you think? Or if you need to share with someone outside that can be that person that you share with and not your client. So anyway, it's a huge subject, and I actually think we could have support groups around this subject. I mean, it's an ongoing, like with every client, it's an ongoing thing, and it all presents itself differently. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. It can be hard, but it can also come from the client, as I guess what the piece that I wanted to add to what you were saying. It's like you can try your best to have your boundaries and share what you feel is appropriate and be loving and all of that. But if some clients just really want to push you, like they want to know more, they want to know about your life, they want you to be their friend. And if you're not that, they pull back. And it's like, well, why aren't you doing this for me? You're supposed to be my friend. So it can be tough. Yeah. And I don't have the answers. So just go do your best. But yeah, anyway, it's great to see you guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Oh, such great reminders. I think I've learned more about what not to do than what to do. So I'm certainly not the expert in this at all. We do the best that we can, and we're not going to always please everyone, and we're probably not going to meet everyone's expectations, even though we try really hard to do that. But also, being able to set gentle, kind boundaries of, you know, um, I think one of the tactics that I do is that I've learned is that when I am in conversation with people, either the person deflects or I become the deflector. And so sometimes, we want to, you know, uh, like for me personally, it's really hard for me to talk about the weather anymore, to be honest with you. It's like I just want to get to the juice, and not everybody wants to go to the deep end with me, right? I see a lot of nodding heads like, let's just get to the juice, people. I'm so sick of talking about the weather. I know the weather's important, but people ask me, what do you do? And I'm like, this is what I do. And either people just run the other way, or some people are curious. And so I, of course, yeah, I just really seem to be more drawn to those people, but I also have a curiosity about the one that bolts, right? And so we're going to have clients that are the same way. And so really begin to check the temperature in the room. Again, Sydney, with your experience, I'm sure you've just had tons of experience with that, and building that level of trust is important. And so it is just a daily practice. I've noticed with some clients, like I have no idea what happened the minute before I stepped into that room, right? They could have they could have met with a hospice nurse. They could have received some news. They could be really tired. They could be um, starting in their transition period, right? And they might be like the previous session I had with them, talkative, sharing all sorts of things. And then the next session, they seem a little quiet and withdrawn. And so really being able to just check the temperature in the room will be helpful too, which I did not. I'm going to be upfront with you. When I first started, I was just like, let's dive to the deep end. And then I just wasn't picking up on cues in the beginning. So I'm a work in progress, girls and gentlemen. I really am. So it really takes practice. Thanks so much, Sydney, for that. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Let me look in the chat here, wanting to make sure that looks like, oh, you guys are sharing love. Could the bedside volunteering letter be? Oh, thank you, Sheila, for putting that link in there again. Perfect. So we have, let's see, gosh, we just have a few more minutes. I'm excited. Are you guys all going to be able to stay for happy hour? And welcome, Sally, to the group. It's nice to see you. And Ida, is it Ada or Ida? If I Ada, Ida. Okay, thank you. Welcome, welcome. And Douglas, welcome to the group. So nice to have you here. Hello. Hi, Diana. And Myra and Suzanne and Nancy and Kelly, welcome to all of you. And you don't have, you can do your digital hand, or you can just raise your hand or put in the chat if you guys are if you're wanting to go ahead and stay for happy hour. If you need to leave, we'll be starting in just a few minutes, but I want to make sure that we answer all your questions. Anybody have any questions before we go into the breakout room? So for those that haven't been to this group before, welcome. Thank you, Clarice. I'm glad that you're going to be able to stay today. So this portion, happy hour, is really an opportunity for everybody to uh, get to know one another. This has really just been beautiful, and I have to say, when everyone comes back from the group, you're all smiley and you've made connections. And so, for me personally, since I started this journey, having connections with my cohort, or the group that I graduated with in the fall of 2020, like those are amazing people that I still stay connected with. And so this is an opportunity for you to really get to know one another. Maybe share your why. Maybe share a little bit about yourself. Maybe exchange information, but really something that you're working on. I don't know, it can be anything. I'm not going in the room with you. I sit out here and wait, and I see. It's so funny in the breakout rooms, I see the microphone going up, and I just see all sorts of chatter, and so it's just really fun to watch. So just really want to give you guys this opportunity to connect and just provide a space. So does anyone have any last minutes before I put you out in a breakout room? It's kind of a large group, so we're going to spend a lot of time in the breakout rooms, and so everybody will have an opportunity to share and get to know one another. Yeah, Jesse, go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
I'm no, I'm fine.
You're fine. Are you going to be able to stay?
Yes.
Perfect.
I was
Perfect.
writing
Yay.
down a note here.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, any other last minute questions? I'll bring you guys back. I'll bring you back. Gosh, we have lots of time. This is exciting. So,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Can I ask
Someone
a
says,
question, Ashley?
yeah, for sure.
It has to do with the homework that we had
Yes.
that's not this past Tuesday, but the week before. So it had to do with symptoms and then interventions. Do you remember that,
Okay.
homework, you guys?
Let me grab the homework list. Hang on. Let's see. Homework for module 8, is that the one that you're referring to?
It was assignment 11. Yeah, I guess it was module 8. Homework
So,
11. It was
okay.
just like a bunch of different diseases and then asking what are, name 3 symptoms, name 3 interventions, blah, 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 like that. It went down the list of different ones. Do you remember that one? So I was doing this with Antonia, I guess whenever it was assigned, I can't remember, the week before last or something. And I had highlighted because Suzanne, the last one was about brain cancer. And she wanted the symptoms of brain cancer, which there are numerous, right? And then but she wanted several of the interventions for brain cancer. And Suzanne's talk on brain cancer was really it's really small. She doesn't go into a whole lot. So I was just curious, like, for a little bit more on those interventions. And maybe it was just that, maybe it was mostly safety or just going back into pulling in, and what I did was pull in from obviously other symptoms from other diseases of what might also work with brain cancer. But I didn't know if any of the rest of you had noticed that when you did that homework, that the brain cancer piece she asked for a lot of different interventions on that, more than everything else, but yet she had given us less than everything else about what it was. So I was just curious if there was anything
Yeah.
like specifically about that stuck out to you that would be important to know about that particular.
So just off the top of my head, even 3 interventions would be appropriate, because with brain cancer, probably pain, headaches, probably one of the most common ones that I would see with brain cancer. Also some confusion and change in personality, like, someone who sometimes there's this impulsivity, sometimes there's angry outbursts, sometimes there is, there's some confusion. Short-term memory can happen depending on where their tumor is located. One of the, everybody has their opinion about steroids, but I kind of like a little bit of steroids, at least in the hospice company that I worked with. They used a low dose steroid or even ibuprofen. Those are both anti-inflammatory medications that can help reduce the inflammation. And so pain, headaches, very, very common, even light sensitivity, confusion, personality changes, weakness, is what probably the most 3 common things that I can think of just off of the top of my head. And intervention safety, I think really being able to anticipate the weakness, and then also being able to just not take that personally when they begin, like, just being, they'll have these angry outbursts. I personally have a friend who has a glioblastoma, and she's about 18. Gosh, she's been it's been a while for her, and so she's just having decreased cognition. Her memory is just really, it's almost as if she's becoming, I'm sure it's almost like her behaviors are more childlike, and so really being able to constant reminding, and she's an adult, and so she wants to cook, but safety is a huge issue. And so there is this sometimes there's lack of inhibitions and things like that. I hope that's helpful. So pain,
It is helpful. Yeah, thanks.
weakness, yeah.
It was just interesting because she had been asking for like 3 interventions to list. And of course there was, with most of the diseases, there was more than that. So I was just listing all the ones that I knew. It was so fun. But with the brain cancer, she actually asked for like 6 or 8 interventions, which I thought was interesting. It was like this much larger amount. And I thought, okay, am I missing something that's obvious here, or is it just more safety? So
You know what, I'll make a note of that and I'll let the team know. Maybe I'm not really sure I'm not really sure about why there's a few more interventions. I just think too with brain cancer, it's depending on the type of brain cancer, there are several that um, safety is our number one concern because they can get weak and the onset can just happen so quickly. And it depends on if they're primary. So we understand with cancer, sometimes people have a primary of their brain cancer tumor, like a glioblastoma, or there might be a metastatic, like their cancer starts in another area of their body and then it metastasizes to their brain. So we have to kind of be mindful about, what their initial diagnosis was and just kind of anticipate those needs. To be honest with you, those 3 questions, if you can remember just safety, any acute issues, and then of course support system. Like if you get those 3 those 3 things down, you're going to be a perfect doula giver because you're going to be able to identify right away something's off, trusting your intuition. And to me, pain, you can't get anything done if somebody is in pain. And then safety, of course. So those are big ones for all disease processes. Yeah, great question. Great job doing your homework with your buddy too. Good job. Good job. I love it. Okay, welcome. Oh my gosh, we've got a couple more people. Hi Maggie. Hi Kelly. Welcome. Hi Catherine and Gina. Oh my gosh, Tara's here. Myra, we got the whole crew here. Welcome. Okay, so is everybody staying? Okay. All right. I'm just going to assume everybody is staying and I am, let's see, we'll say it's 10 after. So for those that have to jet off, I just thank you so much for coming. And then for those that are staying, we're going to just go ahead and bring you into the breakout rooms. So I see 20 on my screen minus me. So I'm going to, gosh, we'll just put you guys in breakout rooms. For those that haven't done the breakout rooms with us before, I'll probably do, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gosh, I'm gonna do lots of rooms. So there'll be like maybe 3 people in a room, 3 or 4, and then just make sure that you allow enough time. We'll probably do the breakout rooms for at least 40 minutes, right? So maybe 10 minutes each if there's 3 or 4 people in a room, and then just allow yourself. Gina says she's going to have to stay on mute. That's perfect. Gina, you can always pop in the chat and communicate with people that way. So glad that you're here. And then what I'll do when we're getting close to time is I'll send a little message in the room that says, hey, we're going to be closing up. Make sure we're going to wind up. And then there'll be a 60-second countdown that'll let you know to come back into the room. So don't feel like when you get the notification that it's time to come back, you don't have to pop right in. You can wait until it brings you back, or you can just pop in. The last thing when you enter the room initially is that there'll be a little notification that says you're entering the room, just hit OK or got it. And that way that'll keep you in the room. Otherwise, it's just going to bring you right back and then we'll have to reassign you into a different room. So please enjoy the time together. Yeah, Kelly, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Kelly.
You're welcome. Sorry, I was a little late getting on today. It's my first time I've been to this and I'm regretting not doing it sooner, but life was crazy. I'm wondering, is there any way that you could put Heather in my breakout room, because we're both Canadians, we're both from British Columbia,
Yes.
and it would be so helpful if we could chat.
Absolutely. I will do my very best. If
Thank
it doesn't,
you.
if I mess up, because it could certainly happen, I will do my best to put you two together. So, and if you don't go, then I'll just swing you into another room. So, I mean, into that room. I'll
Oh,
do
and
my
I
very
see
best.
Kosawan is from Canada as well.
Oh, okay. Let's put the Canadians together. Okay. Sorry, everybody else. All right. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So bear with me as I look at the screen here and figure out how many breakout rooms. So there's 21. So I'll do 7 rooms. And okay. Okay, so bear with me. Um, if I mess up, please come back. Why is it not creating? Oh, here it is. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Let's see, recreate. Thank you guys for letting me. Okay. You know what? I don't know how to do that. So Kelly, thank you for that. This is a great opportunity for learning. I was just talking to someone yesterday. It's like, don't panic. Everything will be fine. So I'm gonna let you guys choose a room. I don't know if that's gonna work. That sounds kind of dangerous, doesn't it? Um, okay, let's get out of that. Okay. Uh, oh, here we go. Okay. So, so Kelly, Ida, and Heather are going in that room. Thank you guys for your patience. Good to see
Good to see
everyone.
everyone.
I'm getting feedback here.
Me
Oh,
too.
You can speak without feedback.
what's that?
I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, I can hear you without feedback all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, everyone has to be on mute for the
Yeah.
feedback to stop. So,
Okay. Thank you, Catherine, for that. I appreciate that. I know last week I'm like, there's feedback. So good to see you. Yeah, go ahead.
maybe remind everyone. I don't know if there's a way you can send messages to the chat rooms, but to tell everyone to mute themselves before they come back in.
Well, and I can mute everybody too on my end. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. My gosh, I love seeing all the beautiful smiley faces. How did it go, everybody? Yeah, good, excellent. Kelly and our Canadian group, how did that go? Yeah, good, 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 good. Made some connections. Excellent, excellent. So, we have just a couple minutes. Anybody want to share? How did the group experience go? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Douglas, I'm glad that we were able to get you in one of the groups. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Yeah, someone raised their hand, but I missed it. Oh yeah, Trina, go ahead. Good to see you, Trina.
Nice to be here. Were you able to come up with the name of the funder for the nonprofit doula houses?
Oh, it just dropped in, Trina. It's Omega. It's the Omega House. Oh my gosh. I
That's
just needed
wonderful. I was just yesterday, I had a meeting with my local mutual aid network because we have some funders and they're doing low income housing stuff and a mutual aid, but I believe I could fund. I believe I could fund and start a
Really?
doula house here in my area, which is really actually very much my passion. And when you said it today, I just started crying immediately because I felt completely as though my future was just dropped. So thank you. That's what I wanted to know. I'm going to be moving on this right away. Yeah. So thanks.
Okay, I just want to take a moment and this is how it happens, right? This is how it happens, and this is how the magic happens. This is how one, we're connected, and we're all just these beautiful threads, like we're all connected. And that's where the juice is that we can find something that just lights us up. And when our heart says yes, like there is no stopping you, Trina, there is no stopping you. So I put in the link. I don't know why I always get so mushy in this class, but it
I
just
do as
I
well.
oh my gosh, I'm so excited for each of you. You have no idea what's in store for you when you begin to open up your heart space and when you are living in full alignment of your heart's purpose, your life's purpose, the sky's the limit. I'm seeing it all the time, and I see it in each of you, and it's just such an honor, such an honor. So thank you, Trina. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes, you're welcome. And I put in the chat the Omega Home Network. It's an amazing nonprofit organization. And I know Suzanne is talking about, like hospice houses, doula houses popping up all over the place. It's possible. It's possible. And the
I would
Omega
very much
Network
like to
is a
do it.
nonprofit that tells you step by step exactly how to do it. So they do the work off for you. Ta-da!
Awesome.
Done. Trina, check. All right, off you go. Good job. Good job. Oh, big hugs to you. I'm so excited for you. Tara, good to see you.
You. I just wanted to like, oh my God, Trina, yes. Because Suzanne did a talk on the Omega House. They've been on my radar for a while. I'd love to talk with, yeah, I may connect with you more on that. Because I think I was driving and I was listening to one of Suzanne's like podcast things, and it was about the Omega House, and I literally had to pull over. I was bawling. And I was like, okay, that's like a real strong reaction. Like this must mean something. So that's been at the back of my mind, like just the idea of having places like that. I would love to be part of something like that here. So, and yeah, they seem to have, you just have to have a 504, like you have to have that specific type of nonprofit. And once you are that, then they have all of this stuff. It's like, it seems like they've figured out all the details, the blueprint, and you just have to take that and run with it, which is wildly exciting.
It's so like my heart just goes flutter flutter. So for I was really excited about I had heard about the wind phone. If you don't know what the wind phone is, please look it up. And so there's wind phones all over the world, and I just love the idea. Like I love the idea of being able to connect with my loved ones. I still have my mom's phone. I can't delete my mom's phone number off my phone. Sometimes I'll just pick up my phone and just say, "Hey, mom," and even though she's not physically here, she's here. And so the whole concept of the wind phone, and so my one of my dreams was to bring a wind phone to my area, and we did it. We did it. I went through. It's now at a funeral home close by, and I collaborated with a local Girl Scout, and it's there. And I'm just hearing stories that I don't get to see what happens every day, but the funeral home director, as he's meeting with families, and he's like, and we also have the wind phone, and he sees people out there talking, hanging out at there, and people are starting to bring things, offerings there. It's just been a beautiful thing, and so I think sometimes we have to just remember why we're here, and if it's not like Noda, hospice house, wind phone, being able to do this work, like if it's not there, we have to create it. We're in the grassroots, right? We're in the state of remembering of how to do this work. It's such sacred work, and sometimes we have to create it ourselves. I'm so excited for you guys. Welcome, welcome. Heather, I'm sorry, we're just finishing up. It's so good to see you. Did you want to say hi to the group at all before we take off?
I was just logging on because I have yet to, and I was like, what is this about? Because I wasn't working today, so it was a day that I could. So I just was really just, what's happening here? And I was like, oh, there's multiple people. So I'll try to come back another next week, perhaps.
I hope that you will. Actually, just to remind you guys, thank you, Heather, for coming. I hope that you can join us. Again, just to remind you guys that next Friday is 4th of July and
Oh.
we're not going to meet. Yes, I know. Sorry. I'm going to go play with my husband in the mountains. So we're going to go listen to the wind and hug a couple of trees probably. But anyway, so the support too. The office will be closed on 4th of July, so if you do send an email or a ticket in or something like that, please give them a little grace and some time in responding because they will be enjoying that holiday as well. So, oh my gosh, my heart is just on fire. I'm so excited. Yeah, go ahead, Kelly. One more question.
One more question. Because I didn't attend any of these and I see it's being recorded. How do we access those recordings?
So great question. So in the Facebook group, there is after I get the copy of the recording, and then there's some editing that happens. So I have to wait for the team to do their famous editing, and then I create a little Q&A from the questions. So I'll have the chat with any extra questions that I didn't answer online, and then when it'll probably not be until Monday. But I usually put it all together and I post it in your Facebook group. So you can go back to that the main page, the 2025 spring semester page, and then you'll see actually past recordings of not only the live semester with Q&A, but also every Friday we've been recording and posting those in the groups. So be sure and check that out as well. Yeah, we don't record the breakout rooms because you guys are talking away and I'm just hanging out, cheering you on. So, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you can join us again. Okay. Oh my gosh. Happy Friday, everyone. My heart is expanding. I love seeing all of you here. Welcome. Please come back and join us again. And please stay connected in the group. We are just here cheering you on. Look forward to seeing you in class on Tuesday, week 10. Oh my gosh, here we go. We're really getting into it. One thing I really want to encourage everyone is to just please continue to hit mark complete, and then make sure that you are set to go by the end of the semester to take your exam, and you are all going to pass because you're all amazing and you've been following along in the training. You're going to do amazing. I'm sending you all sorts of love from Boise. Thanks, you guys. I'm super humbled and honored to be with you. All right. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.